What's up, Guardians? Welcome to another Destiny gameplay video. This video I'm going to focus on the exotic primary sniper rifle, No Land Beyond. It's sort of the red-headed stepchild of the exotic weapons family, but we're going to try and give it a little bit of love today. Now, it is kind of the red-headed stepchild for a good reason, and that reason is it kind of sucks. I'm not going to be one of those guys who's going to show you great gameplay with it that I pulled out of 20 hours of terrible gameplay and try and spin it as some fantastic weapon in the right hands. The fact of the matter is it's pretty underpowered. There's a lot of things wrong with it. Can you do well with it? Absolutely. And in this video I'm going to try and show you how to be good with it and give you some pointers that really helped me become an effective player using it. So you might argue, well, if you can become an effective player using it, doesn't that mean it can be a good weapon? And I would still say no. I think you can be effective with it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good weapon. It makes you think a lot more and try really, really hard to be effective. And if you have to work really, really hard to be effective with a weapon, that means that you're good, the weapon's not. So I'm not going to try and spin this as a great weapon in the right hands. I think what it does is it gives you a handicap and it makes things more difficult for you, so you feel better about yourself when you play well with it. So in that sense, I would say it's a good gun for doing stuff like that, challenging yourself and really working on your target acquisition. So let's dive right into this. I'm going to give you some practical pointers on how to really improve your game with the No Land Beyond. And to start out with, I just want to talk about the weapon sway. Now the thing is, when you grab No Land Beyond and you start using it, you're probably going to try and use it like you use sniper rifles. And, you know, for a good reason, it is a sniper rifle. But the thing that's different about it is that when you're using other sniper rifles, when you sight in with the gun, you can sidestep and track with your target using more than just the right thumbstick. You can use the left one too. So as you're moving around trying to work on target acquisition with a sniper rifle, as you ADS, the weapon does not sway. And so it can make it really, really easy to train on your targets and get your headshots as you need to. The problem with No Land Beyond is that when you sight in with the weapon, as you'll see when you try and use it, the weapon bounces and sways as you move. So that makes target acquisition pretty difficult to do. Now on top of that, you'll see that when you ADS, your vision is highly obstructed. The iron sights are big, they're gaudy, they're terrible, and they just take up so much of the screen that it's really, really hard to see what you're shooting at when you ADS. So first and foremost, here's a tip on how to be a little bit more accurate with the weapon. And this is something that I did. I got away from it later, but it's a good stepping stone to getting effective with the weapon. So first thing you can do is when you sight in, like you're moving, you're sidestepping, and then when you see somebody and you sight in, you just stop sidestepping. You stop moving altogether. You only use the right thumbstick. And so what that'll do for you is it'll stabilize your picture enough that you can do target acquisition quite a bit better. So I started doing that. I'd move, and then I'd stop, shoot, move, stop, shoot. And so you kind of get into that kind of groove. And it's effective. It makes it so the weapon doesn't sway. You're going to get a lot more accurate with it. But the problem is that you're sacrificing mobility. And if you've watched my videos rather, you know that I'm really big on mobility. I think that's how you stay alive. That's how you get the drop on other players. So mobility is really, really key to being an effective player. So I kind of wanted to get away from doing that. It was a good thing to do just for a while, just to continue to familiarize myself with the weapon. But I ended up getting away from it. And what I started doing instead, I'm going to give you a tip here. What I started doing instead is I found something I could do, just a little practical technique that literally in one game when I started doing this, I got probably twice as accurate, twice as effective with the weapon. Just doing one really, really simple thing. And that's this. When you sight in with the weapon, normally what you do is you look at the picture on the other side of the sights, right? You're looking at the space between all the iron sights trying to track your target. And that's important. That's usually what you do with a sniper rifle as you scope in with an actual scope. But the problem with No Land Beyond, like we said earlier, it's so obstructive, you can't see crap with it. So the iron sights are just so big, so gaudy, that they just get in the way of your sight picture. So what I recommend doing is, instead of training your eye on what's behind the sights, actually literally just focus on the iron sights themselves. When you sight in, just look at the little circle with the pointer in the middle. That's what you want to fix your eyes on. And your peripherals, you got to trust them to be good enough to recognize when someone's head is entering into that sight picture. And your peripherals, it'll be a little bit blurry, but it should be good enough to recognize a moving figure and train on their head. So what that does for you is it makes your your focus is on the actual iron sights themselves, so it's less like the iron sights are bouncing up and down as you move, and more like the sight picture around it is bouncing up and down, and the iron sights are standing still. And I found that when I focused on the sights instead of what's behind them, I was able to recognize in my peripherals when something was coming into that sight well enough that it doubled my overall effectiveness with the weapon. So maybe you should try that too. Instead of focusing on what's behind the sights, focus on the sights themselves and trust your peripherals to let you know when an enemy player is entering into the sight picture. So hopefully that'll be helpful for you. Give that a shot and let me know what you think. So I don't know how many of you guys, maybe you were able to catch the Team Resolute stream this weekend as they did a clan battle. I think it was with Ronin Warriors, but it was fun to watch. They did a best 2 out of 3 series of games, and it was kind of funny. Hovey ended up, I don't know if you're familiar with these guys at all. Maybe these names they don't make any sense to you. Team Resolute, there's a guy named Hovey, and he's one of the streamers, and he pulled out No Land Beyond and just kind of embarrassed the other team a little bit by using it. And that's kind of what you do with this weapon. It's kind of like a shame weapon. You kind of dance on people's corpses when you... I never do that, obviously. I'm way above that, clearly, because I'm totally classy. But anyways, you can dance on people's bodies when you kill them with No Land Beyond. You got to point at them, whatever you want to do. It's kind of a personal handicap, a personal challenge. But if you kind of use a little of those pointers I gave you, you should be a little bit more effective with the weapon. Give it a shot. I know most of you have either sharded it or put it back in your vault, but maybe pull it back out and give yourself a nice little challenge. I would also recommend anywhere you can farm Cabal kills. That's a good way of training yourself to be more accurate with the weapon, especially when fighting Phalanxes. So that's kind of what I did too. Well, I hope this was helpful, guys. Feel free to follow me on Twitch and on Twitter. Catch my streams and stay updated. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.